Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football channel for the first video of transfer deadline day. There's definitely going to be one more video uploaded today. It might not be about transfers because I don't know about you lot, but as a Chelsea fan, we've had a lot of matches in January. We've had a lot of reports about a lot of similar players in January. And overall, is anyone really too surprised that there's not really been anything happening in this January transfer window for Chelsea? It isn't really a shock whatsoever. I expected this one to happen, and I'm going to give my thoughts on the overall January transfer window in terms of Chelsea's competitors, how we might have fallen behind certain clubs, and also whether or not we actually did the right thing or we didn't do the right thing in not solving some of the issues that we've had as a result of injuries moving forward. The next video I'm going to post is going to be my thoughts on Frank Lampard joining Everton. Lampard is joining Everton on a 2.5-year deal. He wants Joe Edwards as part of his coaching staff, probably as an assistant manager, and he also wanted Anthony Barry, but Anthony Barry wants to stay at Chelsea, which is good news, but I'm going to go into that in a lot more detail, which I think is actually the biggest news that has happened to Chelsea really in this January window is the backlash of Lampard joining Everton, what it means for Chelsea and what it means to keep Anthony Barry. But we're going to go into that in a different video in a bit more detail. We're going to wrap up the January saga here, and I say that it's early morning, you know, deadline day, crazy things can happen. Chelsea have made massive January deadline day signings in the past. You remember Fernando Torres, but Ousmane Dembele. This one has been one that's been rumoured for a long time. It's always been a strong link because Thomas Tuchel has said that Dembele is the most talented player that he's ever managed, and that includes the likes of Mbappe, players like this. So for that kind of statement to be made, Thomas Tuchel would probably have wanted to try and sign Dembele. The issues with Chelsea trying to sign Dembele have always been that because of his astronomical wages, in order for Chelsea to not have any bad repercussions with financial fair play, Chelsea would have needed to offload players in January. Now, January is a time where clubs do look to do business, but because there is only 30 days to do so, and it's in the middle of a Premier League season, it is so difficult to not only sell a player for the correct value, but also find the right club for this player to go to. For Chelsea to be able to offload whoever it might be to bring in Dembele, there is obvious names that certainly ring a bell. I could probably list 5 of them that could have potentially been candidates for Chelsea to sell. Ziyech before he turned into an absolute wizard once again, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Timo Werner, and who else could it possibly have been? There's probably somebody else that it could have been. Ross Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 2 other examples as well. But I don't think their wages would have been able to cover what Chelsea would have had to outlay to bring Dembele to the club. So it's not a surprise to me whatsoever that during this January window, whether Tuchel wanted Dembele or not, it was just too complex of a deal in order for him to be able to come. There were rumours that Manchester United were also interested. These got squashed. Chelsea were really the only Premier League club who tried, or had an idea at least, to bring Dembele to Chelsea this January window. And if anything's going to happen today, my prediction is that Dembele will join Paris Saint-Germain. He's French, go to France and go to Paris and play for PSG. Not only would be financially feasible for PSG, but they can also sign in. Barcelona get the cash, they get to lose the player that they want to lose because he's not signing a new deal, and they lose him for free in the summer. So if Dembele does not sign for PSG today, then I think looking forward, it could be a positive for Chelsea. If he does sign for a free, or he's available for a free in the summer, then Chelsea can spend a lot more time in the next coming months actually looking at Dembele's situation. Is it worth bringing in an injury-prone player just because he's free on massive wages? And do we offload one of our attackers who might not be so happy with game time, might not be so happy with their role at Chelsea, and weighing up the risks? You know, it's an entire different video in itself comparing Dembele to one of the previously mentioned attackers who might well want to leave Chelsea in the summer. Weighing up the positives and the negatives of any potential deal is so hard to do with Ousmane Dembele's injury track record. It's very difficult for Chelsea. It would be a miracle almost if we managed to get a deal of this complexity over the line in the next 12 or so hours. So don't get your hopes up. If you wanted Dembele, it could still happen in the summer maybe if he doesn't join PSG today. But we move into some good news for Chelsea, or at least in my opinion this is great news. Armando Broja, he's on loan at Southampton. He's having a wonderful season. Southampton wanted to buy Armando Broja this January. There were also rumours that Newcastle wanted to buy Armando Broja this January too. The great news is there will be no decisions made by Chelsea at least until the summer. Now, this is positive in many ways. It's positive because regardless of whoever's interested and what the money is, I personally want to see Armando Broja given a chance and staying at Chelsea. I think he's a top quality striker. I've seen a lot of you guys commenting on recent videos saying it doesn't matter what kind of offer comes in for Broja because he's got so many different qualities that could see him become a top Premier League striker. It's still very early to say that, and of course, we've got a Chelsea bias to deal with here because we're Chelsea fans, he's our player, he's on loan, and he's doing incredibly well. But when you look at the attributes that Armando Broja has, very physical, very fast, incredibly direct, loves to run at defenders, isn't afraid to shoot from outside of the area or shoot early at the goalkeeper. Things that I would say are seriously lacking on the whole from Chelsea's attack in general. Armando Broja will be a player that can come in, put some serious pressure on Romelu Lukaku. Of course, there is still a story to be told about Lukaku as to whether or not in the summer this whole Inter Milan fantasy that he might have comes back and haunts Chelsea and bites us. So let's see. But the good news is, if Armando Broja continues to show the kind of form that he's shown so far at Southampton, these rumours of like 40 million euro bids or 33.5 million pound bids this January, that value is only going to increase the more that Armando Broja performs in the Premier League. So I thought it would have been premature if we'd have sold him in January. I thought it would have been yet another one of those Chelsea sales where the board look at it and think, well, you know, this is a big sum of money to try and balance these books of ours for a player who currently isn't playing for the team. So we're going to accept it. And then 6 months down the line, we realise we may have just made a mistake. And I'm talking, of course, here with a great example of Tammy Abraham, who is currently England's top scoring player in Europe right now for Roma under Jose Mourinho. But good news is there is so much more potential with Broja, not just if he comes back to Chelsea, but if he has a great rest of this season, there is huge potential for Chelsea to potentially, if we want to sell him, make even more money in simply a few months' time. We move into what I think is looking like the most conclusive thing to happen regarding the Christensen contract issue at Chelsea, or the reluctance to sign a new Chelsea deal, and Niklas Süle, who is guaranteed now to leave Bayern Munich this summer. Barcelona were one of the favourites for Christensen. Bayern Munich now see Christensen as their number one target as a replacement for Niklas Süle. And I can see this one being very much a two-sided road with one Ferrari going the other way and another giant Rolls Royce going the other way. I say Christensen is a Ferrari. Maybe that is slightly exaggerating, but I think like if we're comparing Niklas Süle to a car, it'd certainly be a big, bulky Rolls Royce, or maybe even like a proper Range Rover, you know, like a big-ass Range Rover. I think Süle could be a good player for Chelsea. And at this point in time, it's about those players, Süle, Christensen, they don't want to stay. They want new challenges. They want something different. So, to me, if I was to make a prediction here, I can totally see Niklas Süle coming to Chelsea as a replacement for Christensen, who goes and plays for Bayern Munich. I really think this one is going to happen now. I think Christensen isn't going to sign a new Chelsea deal. And I think Niklas Süle would be a player that Thomas Tuchel would like, that could come in, German again, play alongside Rudiger, who's hopefully going to sign that new deal, and then we can put this one to bed. I'm tired of speaking about all of these defenders who won't bloody sign new deals. But we move into the final piece of transfer news before we finish on a great piece of news regarding one of our current players. Tchouaméni, Monaco. There were talks only a few months ago that Monaco were willing to accept offers in the region of £40 million. It is now being reported that Monaco's asking price for Tchouaméni has gone up to a whopping, massive £83 million. Now, a lot of people have used this discussion about Tchouaméni comparatively with Declan Rice, and one of the biggest things that we can say about why Tchouaméni would be a better signing than Declan Rice, the argument has always been the price tag, what Chelsea would have to pay. Now, Tchouaméni is one of those players who I think Chelsea would have done very well to go and approach the sign this summer. It is reported that Chelsea have already held talks with Tchouaméni's agent. It's reported very heavily that Chelsea want to sign Tchouaméni, with the various flirtatious moves away for Jorginho, with the ageing and also injury-prone N'Golo Kante. Chelsea need a defensive midfielder. Tchouaméni is one of the best. Declan Rice is also one of the very best, but the price tag from West Ham is astronomical because it's Chelsea. Now, if Tchouaméni is worth 83 million, according to Monaco, and that is the kind of regional fee that they want to accept, then surely the question becomes once more, surely if it's going to be close in terms of what the financial outlay would be, surely we go for Declan Rice. I want to know your thoughts again on that in the comments below. Does it change your opinion on Tchouaméni over Declan Rice now that Monaco seem to have more than doubled their asking price for the player? It certainly makes me ask a lot more questions, but I'll talk about Tchouaméni a bit more in my roundup of Chelsea's January window, as if there is really anything to round up. But trust me, I'll find a way to bring you some more entertainment. We move into the final story of the day, and this one is massive. This one is great news. Reece James is set to be in contention to return in the Club World Cup. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the Club World Cup is something that I'm absolutely buzzing for. Yes, it doesn't have the same kind of financial power bringing to Chelsea as winning the Champions League or the Premier League does, but it is the final trophy left for Chelsea to win before, when we sing that song, we've won it all. We now will have won everything if we win this. So, as the Club World Cup draws nearer, I think the first game, and obviously Chelsea are not involved in because we joined later, the first game is on the 4th of February next month. So, I'm going to be gassed for this. I want us to win this Club World Cup more than as much as anything else, to be honest. Of course, I'd love us to win the Premier League, but how good would it be? Spurs haven't won a trophy in so long. Arsenal, they can only steal an FA Cup here and there. How good would it be if we complete the trophy cabinet in February? It would simply be magnificent. Let me know if you're excited for the Club World Cup in the comments below. I was going to go, but there's still so much just drama around the virus and around everything else that it's just too risky for me to try and leave and come back, and I might not be able to come back for this reason or that reason, so I don't think I'm going to be going, sadly. But anyway, first video of the day. We're going to talk a little bit more about Frank Lampard later. If there's any updates regarding Chelsea somehow bringing in a player in the last minute or a player leaving the Blues, I'll be sure to let you know here on Deadline Day on GBFC. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Come on, you Blues.